The Messianic Aleph Tav Scriptures, or its acronym, MATS, was written to be a study Bible and is truly the most exhaustive rendition on the subject of the Aleph Tav character symbol of its kind in the world. Nearly 5 years in the making, MATS is dedicated to both exploring and exposing the Aleph Tav in every form it is used in the entire Old Testament Tanakh, a task requiring thousands of man-hours in both research and development. But what MATS exposes, if you'll pardon the metaphor, is the revelation that the Aleph Tav is truly the Holy Grail of the Scriptures. In the first edition of MATS, over 7,000 freestanding Aleph Tav symbols were revealed, which were placed in the exact places whereby Moses and the prophets used the mark throughout the Tanakh. The first edition also revealed over 2,000 Vav Aleph Tavs, which I refer to as ditto Aleph Tavs, because they always follow either a freestanding Aleph Tav or Father's memorial name in a verse, whereby the Hebrew letter Vav is used to connect the words in regard to the subject matter. The first edition actually revealed a total of 9 3-letter Hebrew words for study, which used a single Hebrew letter as a prefix for the Aleph Tav. This became of monumental importance when discovering these words could be written in other ways in Hebrew without the Aleph Tav and have the same English translation and meaning, thus signifying the uniqueness of these 3-letter words, which include the Aleph Tav. Now, the second edition of MATS reveals for study, again, 3-letter Hebrew words, which use a single Hebrew letter, but this time at the end of the Aleph Tav as suffixes, revealing a total of 10 3-letter Hebrew words, and once again, with the exception of the pronoun you, all these words can be written in Hebrew without the Aleph Tav, and amazingly get the same English translation. The second edition also reveals for study all 3-letter Hebrew words that have a single Hebrew letter used between the Aleph and the Tav. What makes the majority of these 3-letter Hebrew words so interesting is the fact that some of them are only used once or twice, or only a few dozen times, expressing their distinctiveness, while others are used profoundly hundreds of times throughout the entire Tanakh. Another very interesting, significant feature in the second edition of MATS for study are all the Hebrew pronoun words that incredibly also incorporate the Aleph Tav throughout the Tanakh. I personally believe that the reason for this is because man was created in the image of Elohim, in the image of the Aleph Tav, by the Aleph Tav, and sealed by the covenant by the Aleph Tav on the 7th day of creation. And this is why pronouns originally incorporated the Aleph Tav in the pictorial language of Paleo-Hebrew, which was subsequently carried on into Babylonian and then also into modern Hebrew today. We have to remember that Hebrew is a sacred language, whereby the Aleph Bet was used to speak all creation into existence. And make no mistake, there is no question that for thousands of years, starting with Moses and followed by the prophets, and then also confirmed by the teachings of many famous Jewish rabbis down through history that everyone knew the importance and relevance of the Aleph Tav as a powerful spiritual marker which emphasized from its inception the strength of the covenant through the divine hand of Elohim. And Matz helps to authenticate the importance of this truth by not only exposing the use of the Aleph Tavs, but also by connecting the dots on the patterns that the Aleph Tav is used, including how the Aleph Tav is used in other Hebrew words, which even further substantiates the symbol's sacred significance. But the second edition of Matz doesn't stop there. This edition reveals for study nearly 200 special words that combined together are used thousands of times throughout the Tanakh and incorporate the Aleph Tav, and for good reason. Even though I consider myself no authority on the subject, I personally have come to the conclusion, after years of study and research, that for thousands of years, there's no doubt that the Israelites held the Aleph Tav in high esteem as a very significant spiritual character symbol and as a mark representing the divine. And consequently, it is the reason it was used in these patterns I have just explained. Rest assured, our Hebrew ancestors knew what the Aleph Tav represented and were proud of it for thousands of years, as revealed by its use in the Paleo-Hebrew throughout the Tanakh, and quite possibly even before Moses. For as much as Matz reveals, it is only the beginning of truths. For I feel Matz has laid a credible foundation whereby the body can now build from by Father's Spirit concerning the giving of more revelation on the Aleph Tav. In closing, I would like to say I do not consider myself a Hebrew scholar, and yet for that matter, anyone of reasonable intelligence should be able to connect the dots, as I have done, through study, and see the patterns whereby the Aleph Tav is used. But early on I asked Father, why did you choose me to do such a profound work when there are so many I feel are far better qualified? Father actually answered my question without hesitation. He told me he had chosen me for the same reason he had chosen fishermen to carry his gospel message. He who searches the hearts of men found in me a spark of hunger for truth and a willingness to make sacrifices to get the job done, and with no preconceived ideas on this subject to get in the way. Quite frankly, I was a blank slate, and Father wanted to take me on a different path of thinking as a pioneer to uncover what has been hidden on the subject of the Aleph Tav, even from those who study Hebrew consistently. I was open-minded and willing to listen, obey, and learn. But to be honest, this entire venture has both humbled me and blessed me by laying a foundation with my personal relationship with Father that I feel was definitely necessary to take me to the next level as a witness for Him. For through the working of putting Matz together over the years, he has manifested himself to me and showed me a glimpse of his character as he revealed precious truths through the study of the Aleph Tav. And I have no doubt that Father considers the Aleph Tav to be of profound significance to resurrecting the biblical Hebrew language at a depth I feel we have barely scratched the surface to comprehending. I am just one small voice crying in the wilderness. Make way for the Aleph Tav. Shalom.